Parshat Vayishlach. So the night before that meeting with Esav, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going out of order in this week's Parsha. I'm completely going out of order. Yeah, I'm going out of order. So, but I think we need to go like this. Anyway, so at the night where they meet, before he meets Esav, there is a tremendous struggle that happens over there, and it says, "Vayivater Yaakov levado," and Yaakov was left alone. By the way, guys who weren't here this morning, I can tell you without a doubt, Rebs, I want you closer. Guys who weren't here this morning lost a lot because we did some amazing things, including Kabbalah for you, and you weren't here. So, I'm going to make sure, believe that when you come, you're going to learn only halacha. I mean, anyway, so we had a tremendous, at least as far as I'm concerned, tremendous revelation of things. And anyway, but Yaakov was there alone. Vayavek ish imo ad alot hashachar, and a man, a person, an entity, was fighting with him until dawn. That man was a malach, was an angel, and his name was Samuel. That was the minister of Esau. No, they can't call him Esau, call him Esau. We know that every nation has a minister or an angel that conducts that nation, and then everything is done through them. Based on the decree, everything is done through this nation. He's the representative. The Ari tells us that after Dora Flagal, the Mabul generation, all this Chevre, HaKadosh Baruch Hu divided the ruling of the world, the way he was ruling the world, and he actually gave every nation its own nation, its own angel, its own minister. And Am Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose, since then, to conduct them himself. So, the lowest of all of them is that, and don't ask me why, is the minister of Esav. And in order to take over and to conquer a nation in the world, you first have to take over the minister of that nation, to take it over. Otherwise, you can't take that nation. In other words, you have to take care of the root of the problems, of the root of the source of that gives power to that nation. You don't just take care of the outside, you take care of the source. As it says in Yetziat Mitzrayim, when the Jews left Egypt, when Bnei Israel stand on Yam Suf and the Egyptian army is closing on them, it says, "Vayis'u b'nei Yisrael et einehem ve'ine Mitzrayim nosea acharehem." Egypt is closing by the army, and Rashi says over there, "Ra'u sar shel Mitzrayim nosea min hashamayim la'azor la'Mitzrayim." They saw, it was visible for them to see the minister of Egypt coming from heavens to help them in their pursuit of Am Yisrael. And the real struggle over there was not against the Egyptian, was against the minister, or that archangel that is taking care of the Egyptians. And I do have to tell you that, of course, those angels do not have power of their own to do what they want. Everything is done under the direct orders of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But we need to be able to understand what exactly is happening there as well. Yaakov Avinu is able to win that battle, and he overtook the Sar of Esav. However, that angel hits only one place. we call it Kaf Yerech Raglo, the hip bone. He dislocated his hip bone, and by doing so, he affected Gid Anashe. Gid Anashe is the tendon that goes all the way, the sciatic nerve, basically, should I say, the sciatic nerve that goes all the way from your L4, L3, that area over there, and all the way down to your hamstring, and goes all the way down to, that's why when your back hurts, sometimes you feel like it's pulling on your leg. It's a known Jewish disease, lower back pain. So, one of the mitzvot lo ta'aseh is the commandment not to eat Gid Anashe, not to eat that sciatic nerve, as it says, because it says in the parasha, regardless of the fact that it's the best meat, for those of you who like meat. Filet mignon, all the rump steak, or whatever you call it.
Sirloin.
Huh?
Sirloin,
yeah, whatever is there, I don't know. I don't eat meat anyway. So, and after that is after he hurt, he damaged that area, the Gid Anashe. It says, "Al ken lo yachlu bnei Yisrael Gid Anashe asher kaf hayerech ad hayom hazeh." They would not eat that part that comes over there until today. Why? Ki naga bekaf yerech Yaakov begid Anashe. Okay, so what? So he touched him in the sciatic nerve. He dislocated his labrium over there in the hip. Okay, so wow, what do I have to do with me? If I want to have a little rump steak over there, you kill me at that hell because he had some kind of fighting over there with the angel, or doing some kung fu over there. Oh, for that I don't have to eat. It's like after Bruce Lee's death, but we can't eat Chinese food. What's the connection between one and another? What has to do with that,
Bruce Lee had Jewish ancestors.
Yeah, Baruch Leibowitz. Anyway, so we need to understand exactly why it happens, and why is it so severe not to eat that part of the animal. Not only that it's asur, it's also asur be'ana. You can't derive any ana from it. You can't give it to a dog. Wow, what's the, and we call it in halacha, we call it an entity. It's a bria b'fnei, it's an entity. So I never understood until recently, why is it an entity? Because it's so important, but what's so important in it? But in order to understand that, we need to understand Be'ezrat Hashem what we are saying here. It says in the parasha, in the Zohar, and why is it called Gid Hanashe? And it says, Gid shehu menashe, or menaseh, shehu mediach bnei adam me'avodat bo'am. Lenashot is to oppress. Noshim are tax collectors, oppressors. Lo liot noshe, don't oppress you. So Gid Hanashe shehu menashe. That's what it does. And what does it do? It takes human people, Jewish people, from avodat habore. If you eat that, you're not going to work Hashem. Why? Because over there is the source of Yetzer Hara. In that place. In that place. And since the Malach, wrestled with Yaakov, he couldn't find. There were wrestling. If you see, for example, people doing judo, right? Judo is a very interesting sport. It's a martial art that became a sport that became martial art. I don't know, one of those things. But if you see two people doing judo, they hold each other, they're trying to get a grip, they hold each other, they turn around, they go this, they go that, and all of a sudden, boom! Wazari, tach, on the floor, split of a second. It's a crazy thing. I would recommend to all of you guys to try to do some judo. It'll be very good for you. So, he couldn't find a place when he was working with Yaakov Avinu. He was trying to push here, trying to push there. He couldn't find a place that he could penetrate Yaakov Avinu. All the limbs of Yaakov were tough. They helped him overcome the bombardment, the assault that the Malach was trying to do, because they were all strong. There was no weakness in them. What does that have to do with spirituality? Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you this, that many times, if you cannot balance physically, means you also imbalance internally. The inside and the outside, the spiritual and the physical are connected. You have to understand that. And I hope you guys are not sleeping from eating turkey, because I'm going to send you to Turkey. Try to open your eyes, guys. Don't eat turkey, put you to sleep. There's melatonin in turkey. But Malach HaMavet has other things than melatonin, so stay out. So, he was so strong, also internally and physically, that the klipa could not hold on to it. We know that the klipa, the husk, holds on to a place of weakness. Where you're weak, that's where the klipa holds on to you. When there is lacking and there's weakness, you're going to find the klipa there. So what did he do? He touched Gidan Hashem. Why Dafka Gidan Hashem? Because that's called Mino. In other words, the Yetzer Hara stays there. That's the place of the Yetzer Hara. If you want to know where the Yetzer Hara is in your body, stems from there. Almost like the center point of your body. Stems from there. So he couldn't affect him anywhere else. So the Malach touched him in a place that he knows that his min, his body, his sleeper agent is there. That's why dislocated is hip bone. And it says, "Be'evarav shel ha'adam merumaz ma shelemala." The Mekubalim tell us that in your limbs, in this world, reflect what is happening in your spiritual limbs as well. Hima'ever hu tov u'mamshich tov. If that limb is good, is pure, everything that is going to come from those actions of this limb are going to be good. If and if it's bad, mamshich ra, it will track bad. And ve'al ken kol ever she'ochlim min ba'alei ha'chaim, anything that you eat from an animal will be mechazek, whatever it is that you're eating in your body. For example, if you if you have a problem with iron, with blood, you eat a liver, right? If a woman has a problem with whatever she has, so sometimes they tell her to eat mammary gland. If a person has a problem with his spleen, they recommend to him to eat spleen, and so on and so forth. You should know that. However, if you eat an animal's brains,
yeah, it's very bad.
you know what happens. You know what happens. It's not nice. Now, and if you're going to eat the Gidan Hashem, the part of the body that is there, is going to be mechazek your Yetzer Hara. And since he was able to penetrate in that place, we don't eat the Gidan Hashem. Baal HaSulam says something very interesting, that when we were talking about the Yetzer Hara, Ra Rashi Tevot, the initial is Ratzon Atzmi, selfishness, egoism. And that is Ratzon Atzmi, that's our desire to always receive. That's why they say, "Soneh matanot techiyeh." If you don't like gifts, you're going to have long life. Because the need to always receive something would really shorten your life. It's a horrible way to live. Thank you very much. Yesh li kol tov. I don't need anything. I'm okay. And that ratzon is bad. So comes the Yetzer Hara, and he strengthens that ratzon, which is mekulkal, that broken, that crooked entity inside of you, makes it even more enhanced. And this is what it is to, when you want to receive, you only want to receive for yourself. You don't want to share anything with anyone. And that's why a Jew has a mitzvah to give tzedakah, to break the thing to give. Nobody wants to give. I work hard for my money. I don't want to give it. I have to give money for what? I work hard for it. Right? And if you find yourself difficult within you to give, well, you know that there's something wrong with you. To give maaser, to help institutions, to help individuals in need. What's wrong with you that you can't give? It means that there is something inside of you that is a klipa, it's blocking your ability to be selfless. You're becoming selfish. I don't want it it's only for myself. And by the way, the same thing when it goes about learning. You learn, you have to teach, and it doesn't make a difference at what level. You have to learn to give over. And if you see, I push you guys always to teach, because it has to come through that. However, if you don't come, I can't teach you. If you're eating turkey, I'm crying out loud, it wasn't even shawarma that you were eating. You got to be very careful when you pick up on yourself any kind of those, I think, improper habits instead of learning Torah when you have a chance. Guys, you're playing with fire. I really mean that. You're playing with fire. You're playing with fire. Don't do that. There are plenty of people that would like to learn Torah, don't have the opportunity. If you have the opportunity, you don't come to learn, it's going to be taken away from you, it's going to be given to someone else. I'm telling you that. You have an opportunity to learn, means that you have to learn. Don't find things to do under the carpet not to learn. I don't care if you come to yeshiva and actually you're so tired you fall asleep. Not when I'm talking, of course, right? But come, you learn. You have to do that. There's no more stories. For your own sake. For your own sake. And you have to remember that. So, and that egoism, that selfishness is the root of all evil. That's why we says we're not even allowed to give it to a dog. Why? The dog barks. He goes, give me. His tail goes like this. You can't even give it to the dog, right? Because that represents the will inside of us, that that entity inside of us that we should not strengthen. Only give. Tell me. Freebies. I told you this many times. You can practice a lot of spiritual practices by everyday things. Example, freebies. Baruch Hashem, we go to Costco, you can eat the freebies they give them. But I mean, you look at people from the side, it's like they came up Biafra or something. Like South Sudan, there's like no food in the world. They're running, eating. You see people, they're eating, they go like this, like make a thin turn around the aisle again. Vayishlach, go buy. You don't have money in your pocket? What are you doing in Costco then? People go to a kosher supermarket. At one time, it was very interesting. I was very tempted. There was the woman there had herring. They would say, I love herring, And she said to me, have it. It's kosher. I said to her, I know it's kosher. I have no doubt it's kosher. So she said, why would you have it? So I said, because my father told me. Nothing is for free. You want something, you buy it. It's very simple. So she said, so buy it. I said, you know what? After I buy it, I'll come and take a taste. I bought it. Stay away from freebies. The only thing that is free is Torah. Nobody's charging you to learn, right? And if you want to know why nobody's charging you to learn, it's very simple. So you have no excuses why you're not coming. So the Mekubalim tells us that in creation there is a format that it's called of tikkun, of fixing, that it's called Ashan, Ayin Shin Nun, and it is Olam, Shana, and Nefesh. And those in the format of these three, articles, let's call it this way, everything that is created in the universe exists within the realm of those three. But there's always a place of what we call a place of weakness, of chulsha. There's always a place of weakness. A place, where's the kiruv guy? A place that you cannot fix until everything else is fixed. Almost the makebe patish. You can, for example, right, do the makebe patish before you finish the whole, fixing up the whole apparatus, right? You have to, right? Makebe patish is the last thing. So there are things that you cannot fix until the whole thing is fixed. And since you cannot fix it until the end, you have no business being there. You have no business being there, and therefore you cannot come near that place. Especially if you yourself are not fixed. If you yourself are not fixed, you can't go help other people that have greater influence on you, since you're so influenced by them. You just can't be there. You can't be in this place. Tikkun, when we're talking about tikkunim, fixing up, it means that we have to take something that has a certain shape, and we have to take all these components and take it apart and just arrange them, right? Put everything apart. And, let's start with this. For example, like they do in a lab. I remember if you ever seen a good car mechanic or airplane mechanic or something like this, they take everything and they put everything is organized. After it's organized, it's like a lab, right? They put everything to the side, or and that's something that you have to learn. For example, if I take something or I buy something from IKEA, I don't go and think, okay, let's say now. I take the instructions, I open it up, I align all the screws, all the things that's supposed to have, like, let's say 4 screws. I take all 4 screws, I put them like this. I take all the other, and I just line everything like this. It's so much easier. That's how you fix things. Otherwise, it's like a balagan, and IKEA stuff, I can't put it together. Call the guy who comes from IKEA. No, you can do it. It's very easy. You just have to be organized. You have to know how to do this beirul, that sorting out. Right? It's like a lab, you have to organize, there's a certain step, you have to put everything together. In other words, there are certain things that are good, there are certain things that are bad. You need to sort out the good from the bad and put it like that, like eating, almost like eating. When you eat, right, by chewing with your teeth, there is a lot of wisdom and spiritual thing about the attention that we have to eat while we eat, that we have to have while we eat. With our teeth, we separate, we break, and then the body further goes down and separates and so on and so forth, and keeps on assorting and keeps on assorting, and it keeps the good and it rejects the bad. And that's why the bad, we have to do netilat yadayim after we dismiss ourselves of the bad inside of us, because it's tameh, there's no use for it for us. So we have to do netilat yadayim to purify. It's very simple, guys. So when you after you took all this bad thing, you take the good, you put the bad, and you throw it out, and that's called eating. And this is our avodah that we have in Hashem also in our life and so on and so forth. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us a lot of material. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us a lot of raw material, and we are the one who needs to do the beirul, the selection, the separation, the sifting, the assorting. That's why, for example, on Shabbat, you're not allowed to do melechet borer, separating and assorting. because Shabbat is all good, and the berur is done by itself. Therefore, you have no business doing borer on Shabbat. If you wanted to know ever why we don't do borer on Shabbat, the brera is by itself. And as we said before, there are places that we cannot fix before the appropriate time, and then, of course, as we said, you're not allowed to touch. You can't even come there. You're not allowed to touch there. And for example, if you're talking about time, Lavia, listen, you like this one. If you're talking about time, for example, is Tisha B'Av. Time is Tisha B'Av. It's a day that, there's no bracha in it. In Gufa, in the body, there is Gidan Hashem. And there are places that, even in the world, there are places that you should, as they say, stay away, Bermuda Triangle. Or whatever you have. There are places that you say, oh, listen, they give you a warning. Don't travel to this place. Right? Now, if you're buffoon, you go. Like this guy over there, when they went to the tribes in India, I don't know what, they chopped them up, they ate him, I told you, don't go there. Why do you go there? You can't do the tikkun there. The place will come. One tsunami, everything goes goodbye. Yalla. What is there for you to do it? The Zohar explains it like this. Ba'adam, in a person, we have shasagidim, shin samechei. How much is that?
365.
365. 365 gidim, and against them, shin samechei, shasam mitzvot. That they were giving us not to do. Things that you're not supposed to do. And Gidan Hashem is one of them. And that is according every mitzvat lo ta'aseh against the 365 days of the year. It falls apart. And there are malachim that control every single day. There's a malach that controls every single day of the year. And for example, in Tisha B'Av, one of them is Tisha B'Av, that's the day of the Malach Sam'el, that he's one of the 365 days. And therefore we have Tisha B'Av, B'Shasa Yemot HaShana, right? And when we have Gidan Hashem, Shasa Gidim, right? So the Shasa Gidim, and 365, let's say tendons and limbs, and the 365. So these are the things that you cannot touch. You can't go. So that's the reason why we don't eat and we don't drink in Tisha B'Av, because everything that you eat or you drink on Tisha B'Av will go to a source that you don't want it to go. Tell this to the people in Tel Aviv. Of course, if you're sick, we're not talking about you or something like that. That's why even if it falls on Shabbat we eat, because that Yetzer does not have a negiyah on that day. Shabbat. So why do we fast on a Sunday if it falls on Shabbat? Because we're going to control the Yetzer. Okay, you're going to, that's going to be your day. I want to give you this day, I'm not going to eat that day because I don't want it to come in a different day when I'm not prepared. So I'm going to determine what it is. By the way, if you have control issues, that's a very nice way to control the situation. Start with yourself. You dictate to the Yetzer what to do. You don't allow the Yetzer to dictate to you what to do. And the Yetzer sometimes, as you can see, can come as people. People also could manifest themselves, and the answer is very simple. They gave refuge in their body, in their neshama, to this Yetzer Hara. And they are the people who are masitim, and we had a bracha for them, laminim, lamalshinim, lazedim, and so on and so forth. So we're talking about the place. We're talking about the place of the malach that hurt Yaakov, and it was really in his hip. And we say that these are the two legs, and he hurts the leg, and these are the two legs that really support the whole structure of the body. The whole body stands on these two legs. when we know the regel yamin, the right leg is netzach, and the regel small, that's hod. Hod. And all the troubles, by the way, that we had came from hod. Netzach affected the prophecy, but all the problems came from hod. And hod is the fifth sfera in Ze'er Rampin. We're talking about Ze'er Rampin today. So hod is the fifth sfera, and Chodesh Av is the fifth day, in the 5,000, right? That's why it says in Daniel, Ve'odi ne'epach alai le'mashchit. Hodi became mashchit as a destructor, destroying. So my hod, refers to Sfirat Hod, became a place of destruction for me. That's why Bnei Israel cannot eat Gida Nasheh, because it's a place without takana. They can't fix it. When we eat, when we make the assortment, we could digest that. For example, a pig, you can do that assortment because the klipa of the pig is too big, too overwhelming to you. It's going to pollute you spiritually. Bnei Israel cannot eat Gida Nasheh until they're going to do the tikkun. They don't possess the spiritual capacity needed to digest and to process and separate the good from the bad, not only physically, but also the spiritual element of what it is. And it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. I mean, we are so blind to things that are happening around us, it's amazing. For example, water has memory. Water has memory. If you're going to treat water in a certain way, you'll remember it. And you drink it, it's going to be good. You make a bracha, you appreciate it. You make a bracha for this. So the water becomes healthy for you. If you don't make a bracha, the water remembers it. It's lack of appreciation. And it will become bad for you. You have to remember. And bracha does not only mean she'akol, also means bracha achrona as well. You have to start the initiation of the cycle by making a bracha. You drank it, it became a part of you. And then you have to finish the process by saying bracha achrona. If not, you didn't finish the tikkun. You have to be very careful with that as well. So it says also in Tehillim Pehei Yud Bet, Emet mi eretz titzmach. The truth will come down from the land. So Chazal says, Ta'aleh emet min haaretz. The truth will come from the earth. And this is only at the end of the tikkun, at the end of the fixing. At the end. In our world, there are many, many things, many concepts that are really contradicting one another. There's two opposing forces almost in everything that we do in life. And therefore a person needs a lot of emunah, a lot of internal power in order to overcome everything that is around you. And in order to really connect with what everything is around you, you need to have a certain immune system. And the question is, of course, do we have it or not? If the truth was so revealed out in the open, you should know we would not have b'chira chofshit, we would not have free choice. Because you know it's the truth. So you can act differently. So what do? We choose what to do, guys, not to learn about the truth. When you don't learn about the truth, you can continue living in this fantasy world that you live in. You think that you could cheat everybody and lie to everybody and fool everybody and so on and so forth. It's not that the truth does not exist. You chose not to know about it. How? By not learning. So, if a person will come one day and he will be able to convince everybody that he's a truthful man, all the people will bow down to him. All the people in the world bow down to him. However, it's very difficult to bow down and to to submit yourself to a person that you know that you feel the lie inside of you. Because when you feel the lie inside of you, you will also see the sheker outside as well, in other people. And he says, why should I oppress myself? Why should I submit myself to a lie? He's lying just as much as I am. We all know it's a fake. So if you want to know why we're not able to connect in greater numbers to our secular brethren, it's because to a certain extent maybe we're not so truthful. Maybe we should be more truthful. And people will connect with it. So people are so immersed in the lie that they just refuse. They refuse to admit the truth. Until, of course, the truth will come, But a person that sees the truth, he surrenders himself to it. It's not a problem. Submit himself to the truth, to whatever it is. Now, what happens when he was fighting with him at night, that's called Ma'avakim Elohim ve'anashim. A battle with God and people as well. That, by the way, later on, creates the change of the name of Yaakov to Israel. The name Yaakov really indicates somewhat of a crooked, by its name, aspects in the human inside of us. Always trickery. If you talk to people about Yaakov, most people, even secular people, tell, you tricked his brother. Right away it comes up like this, right? However, when he changed the name, he changed the reality from a Metziut of Yaakov to a reality of Ish Elokim, Israel. He's already Israel then. And, Hoshea, which I think lived about, maybe 1,000 years after Yaakov, says, Bebeten akav et achiv. In the stomach, he tried to bypass his brother. In other words, in the realization of the nation, in our national awareness, that concept that Yaakov did not do something that was so quote-unquote kosher, it still remained. Even 100 years after, when Yirmiyahu comes, aka Jeremiah, right? He gives tochecha to his people of the generation on the dishonesty in their relationship, and about the hypocrisy, about the fact that they're lying to one another. And he says, Kol ach, every brother, akov Yaakov. Every brother tries to trick another brother, like Yaakov tried to treat Esav. I mean, he might not necessarily talk about Yaakov Avinu, but by all means he talks about the people of generation with the way that they're acting. But that's like the memory that they had. So how do you make this derech, how do you make this path from Yaakov to Israel? And this is very important. We might be late, we are going to be late. But it's very important because we need to fix our ways, guys. We must. We don't have to, we must. And I want you to understand this. And when you understand this, and if you like it, please share it with other people. So we can all be a part of this. Talking about sharing with other people. If you have questions to the people on the internet, you can reach us as rabbigaon@gmail.com. And you can go to our Yeshiva website at yeshiva.etzion.com. We also have a YouTube account, so you can check us out there. And if you decided to be a little generous, you can also go to our website and give us a PayPal shout out, which will be greatly appreciated. And if you buy stuff in Amazon, please guys, don't forget Amazon Smile, put the name of the Yeshiva inside.
Congregation. Congregation.
And congregation. The thing is congregation. Etzion on Amazon. Guys, everything helps. Every bit helps, and you can see those books are from the pushkas that we got. Those recent books that we got. Huh? No, you shouldn't.
Okay,
Yeah. Why, you're like a graduate of CNN camera thing. You just make sure the batteries are charged. Anyway, so what happens? What was the path that it took to become from Yaakov to become Israel? And that path was given to Am Israel, and maybe by understanding this, we can actually understand what Rachel did later on, and what later on what Yaakov commanded his brothers to do when they were dealing with Dinah. It says, "Velavan alach ligzoz et tzono," and Lavan went to shear the shearlings, for we can make like Uggs boots, from for his people. Vatignov Rachel et atrafim asher leavia, and Rachel stole those idols, those magical idols that she had from her father. And the question is, why did she steal it? So she explains that she wanted to remove her father from Avodah Zarah. However, I'm going to tell you something else. Maybe she actually stole them. Why? Maybe she stole them because she really wanted them. Yep. She really wanted them because, believe it or not, they were a part of her life. She grew up in a house like this. Of course, your question was a very good question. How come Yaakov did not get rid of it when he was there? I guess he would kill him if he would get rid of it.
No, it mentions it before they go to
Yeah.
They tell him to bury it.
So, maybe there was a part of her life, from her spiritual thing, from her religious practicing. And remember, I told you today, we were talking about it because of those of you who are here today, there is a big difference between spirituality and faith. Well, that was a part of the overall thing. That's how she practiced her religion. That was her identity. That was her life. So she needed that. She couldn't give it up. And therefore, there was a situation that in the house of Yaakov, we actually have idols. And not only those who were taken from Shechem, they weren't just object and like this, but she also brought the spirit, that pagan culture that sees life and power in trees, in stones, in mountains. Look, pagans, Vikings. Everybody likes Vikings. Everybody's a pagan. Oh, what are you? I'm a pagan. Right? Now, and those things really represent pieces of nature, and those statues are part of a very important part of the life, of the culture, of self-expression, and so on and so forth. Those things that they made in the noses, right? They took the noses, they made gods out of them. They worshipped gold. They made gold into the thing. And that was the same thing, by the way, in the act of the eagle. So when they had the ephod, right? When Gideon so-called had the Avodah Zarah, right? So the nizamim that they took, those nose rings and the earrings that they took, was not just a source to receive gold and precious metals and so on and so forth. They also bring the beauty. They bring a certain feminine beauty, right? They bring the eros into the object, and that becomes a subject for idol worshipping, for avodah zarah, for a foreign god. And we have to be very careful from these things. And what we say, sheker achen vehevel ayofi, the true beauty, isha yirat Hashem itit halal. Not a beautiful woman externally. Yirat Hashem, yirat shamayim, that's what you should be praising. Not the size of this or the color of that. The internal, that's the true beauty. So Yaakov was a person who lived with God. We call him Kel Elyon, or say Shamayim Va'aretz. Right? In a person that is going to be, right, later on, is going to be the God of the nation of Israel. Right? But until in his house, until our parasha, he had there is a religious carnival over there going on. I mean, there's really like a big balagan over there, where when you have one sharing with the other, one side you have Lavan and company doing his whatever they do over there, and singing with the drums, Hare Krishna, banging on the thing, and over there it says Avinu Malkeinu. It's like balagan shalem. Imagine a shul like this. Imagine a shul like this. It's crazy. I mean, you can't do it. You can't do or a house. Talking about a house that, God forbid, has a Christmas tree on one side and a menorah on the other side. To make everybody happy. I mean, that's what you get. You want to have defective kids. Go ahead and do that.
Hanukkah bush.
Yeah, Hanukkah bush, yeah. Hanukkah bush. George Bush. למה חנוכה? עוד לא מצאתי בן אדם שיש לו שם שלו חנוכה, אין איזה לא שתיים בוש. So, which is really crazy. Now, what happened? The brothers of Dinah, remember the whole Dinah story, without getting into it now, they revenged her revenge. They went to seek justice. After what they did to her, hashtag Medina, whatever he did to her, whatever he did. So the brothers do what they do, what we think is right. Yaakov is really angry at them. Yaakov is really angry with them, and he so-called is afraid that all the nations of the area will come in and they're going to raid Yaakov and his household. And they give a stark argument. Akezonaya said tachotenu. But I always loved this argument. I did. I said the word I did, and I still do to a certain part of me. But I did. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, yes. After that, we never heard anymore that a Gentile raped a Jewish woman. I mean, imagine that, right? However, what bothered me is why Yaakov is so angry at them. I mean, Yaakov, you went in, like big macho guy, 60-year-old guy, goes pick up a stone that like a whole bunch of, shepherds cannot. Then he sees Rachel, let me show you guys. Take the stone like this. He fights with an angel the whole night. You're afraid of them. Yeah, who's your grandfather? But what's the problem? Why is Yaakov so angry? Yaakov is not a person, actually sometimes he has like a little temper, Yaakov. That's why I'm Jewish, I'm staying away from Yaakov, right? Yaakov is a little temper, but why? We need to understand why. And with this we'll finish. The reason is like this. It says, like any other good machloket, even if I don't accept the opinion of my plukta, the person who disagrees with me, right? I'm trying to internalize it in different ways, in different maybe he has a point here, and I'm arguing and so on and so forth. So it's very possible that Yaakov still thinks that the action was a wrong action, but the self-esteem, that identity, that his and the confidence that his children, his sons are, showing, really penetrate his world, and he's kind of doesn't really know how to maybe deal with that. He does understand. He doesn't say anything to them. And the fact that he doesn't answer them is not because he's afraid of them. Because he knows they have a point. They have a point. You don't see Yaakov arguing with them. Yaakov does something else. He's angry at them. Why did you do it? But when they gave him the reason, he didn't tell him you're wrong. He doesn't say anything. But he does something very, very interesting. That is a realization that the carnival is over. In other words, this duality is over. In other words, there is me, and there is the other, which is foreign. There is my God, and there is the other, quote-unquote, God. And therefore he calls everybody, and also to a certain extent, maybe to himself, to almost like a Chanukah thing, Mila Hashem Elai. Let's get rid of this Elohei Nechal, this concept that we brought with us. And not because those items that they had are just objects that are stupid. I mean, it's a statue that you bow down to and so on and so forth. But because I need to make a covenant with my God. I need to make a commitment with my God. This duality cannot exist anymore. I have respect to those foreign gods. Look, they do all kind of like magic things and stuff like that. However, you know what? Let's take all those idols and we're going to break them and we're going to burn it and we're going to throw it away. Right? He tells them, right? That's what Moshe did. He takes it and burns it and throws it away. But Yaakov says something else. Let's take them and let's bury them under the tree, which a tree was, that Elah. Elah is some kind of a tree. I don't know which tree is that. Let's say some kind of an oak tree in the area over there. He said, let's bury them. And that was usually a place of kavod or something like this. He doesn't get rid of them. He buries them. Moshe got rid of them. But he buried them. So even if that, they were a part of us at a certain point. And we have respect for them. Otherwise, why not burning them? However, this is over. This thing is over. We can't go on like this anymore. And we are going on a new path. And the new path has a covenant and has a commitment. And there is a solid commitment to only one God who is going to call me, or which I'm going to call upon when I have help, when I need help. Right? We know, right? We say this in the Slichot. And is going to be with me, and this is what I'm going to receive the Torah on. My only commitment to one God, regardless of what happens in the other one. And what does it mean? We know that there is koach mitzad tumah as well. And you said, don't take it lightly. But you can deal with that. You can only deal with what was given to you. You can only deal with God. And that's what you should worry about. And you should know that this only also applies to relationship that you have with another person, with another man, or even with your wife, and so on and so forth. We don't accept the duality or the way that Rachel lives. She wants to steal them. I mean, she should have nothing to do with them. The fact that she stole them, right? What do you care? Leave them alone. Why didn't you burn them? Why did Rachel destroy them? She stole it because she wanted it. But in relationship that you have, you can be a double agent. You can't. And you need a covenant with one another. And you make a covenant with your wife. And you make a covenant with your fellow Jew. And you make a brit, a covenant with God. And He's going to be your only God. And it's not because that there isn't another person or a third one or fourth one and so on and so forth. As the Rambam says, we only make the covenant because one thing and one thing only. Because I chose him and he chose me. Not for any other reason. And we need to understand that. And that's what Yaakov, after what he did what they did with Dinah, that's why he said this. I can't do this anymore. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose us. And I need to choose him. And then we're going to make a covenant. And we're building a Mizbeach. And now you're going to think any time that they build a Mizbeach, you see that realization that Hashem chose us and we chose him. Vayivnei Mizbeach LaHashem. It's the understanding that. So we have to be very careful with how we live our life, or very aware of how we live our life. We have to understand that there are certain people that will be a very bad influence on us, and we should have absolutely nothing to do with them. Or places. that are infected with, with bad, call it, I hate to sound like New Age, bad energy. I doubt it that you can really go to a place like Bangkok and be a saint. It can't be. It's beyond us. Most of us, at least. So that's why you have to live in. Now, if you understand what the Rambam says, you have to live in a place of there are good people, not when there are bad people. Because they're going to change you. You are not that strong. They're going to change you. You're going to be influenced. And if not you, your children. That's why you always have to come to Bet Medrash to learn. Because you're surrounded with people who learn Torah. And you're surrounded with words of Torah. That's your protection. As much as you can. You don't have to eat the Gidan Hashem. Because if you do, you fail. And you have to make this commitment inside of you, this commitment to Hashem. That's what we say, Hashem Echad. And there is only one Torah, and there's only one God. V'mi ke'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. That oneness is the key for all. This is when we're going to get the strength. And Be'ezrat Hashem, when we fix the tikkun, all of us, then we can fix the tikkun also of Gidan Hashem. Until that point, by the way, when we say Gidan Hashem, and the mitzvah it says, Al ken lo yochlu, the people decided not to eat the Gidan Hashem. It's not like anywhere it says, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe lemor, emor al bnei Yisrael, don't eat Gidan Hashem. There's no such thing. To show us that maybe one day when we reach the Tikkun Shalem, after we will be able to be metaken the sfera of Netzach and Hod, then we can have the Chibur Shalem and the Tikkun Shalem. Maybe then it's going to be a different story.
All this minchag.
You're right. But it became a halacha. Now it's a halacha. Now it's a mitzvah not to eat it. Now it's a mitzvah not to eat it. You want to eat the back part, not a problem. Take the Gidan Hashem out. Do niku, take it out. Very difficult thing to do. You can't eat that entity, that gid, that tendon. You can't eat it. And as I said to you before, jokingly, but I really mean that, a lot of the Jews suffer from a sciatic nerve. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.